Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dialogue Tree. This is episode 44. My name is Daniel Padilla, and as always, I am joined by my wonderful friend, Matthew, NBA Hangtime Peterson.
Greetings.
And today we have a very special guest in Cameron Nook Miles Tails Prower NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Mitchell.
Welcome to myself.
Welcome. Yeah, that's kind of a weird thing to say to yourself.
Yeah, I was thinking about Cuphead though, and the pig.
Welcome.
What is it? What's his name?
Porky.
Porky.
Pork rind.
Pork rind.
Yeah, Pork Rind's Emporium.
Yeah,
That's what
Porky
it is.
Porky's the
real
The stuttering
animated
pig.
right, the stuttering pig.
Real
That's
animated.
Right. All right, Cameron, let me just get this shit out of the way, dude. I know contractually we were not supposed to touch upon this topic. You know, we were setting up having you as a guest. I know, but we just need to talk about this, man.
Oh God.
Do you know who Bilbo is?
Man, I don't know. Outside of the context of The Hobbit, I don't know who Bilbo is.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
No, he means the Bilbo.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what Bilbo he's referring to, and I haven't. Bilbo's not online right now.
I maintain that it's Robbie Franklin's fault.
I wonder if Robbie's been keeping up with the pod. I wonder what he thinks about every time.
Yeah, but you should have him back on just to fucking accuse him.
That was a good episode with Robbie.
It was, but I remember I was specifically outside. I was late and I was walking home, and Robbie Franklin was setting up with Daniel, and that's when Bilbo joined in like the timestamps. So it's definitely like at least related to him somehow.
Yeah. No, I mean that's true. Shit, Cameron, you want to update us on your life, dude? What's going on?
I just started graduate school for
Nice.
computer science, all the way across the street at WPI. I moved,
Right.
except that I'm not actually there. I'm at home because graduate school, all graduate classes, at least as far as I know, are online at WPI right now.
Gotcha.
So I'm just chilling at home, living with my parents, which is okay.
Yeah.
I love my parents and they're great people, but
you
once
want
you
to be
get
doing your own thing.
Yeah, once you get that taste of freedom of like living in your own apartment and paying for it and like sustaining yourself,
Yeah,
God,
dude.
it's just so satisfying, and you can just do whatever you want all the time. And
Yep.
I mean, it's not like my parents are super relaxed, so I can still do most of the stuff that I want. But
Right. It's not the same, dude.
no.
Nah, believe me, I get that shit. Yep.
But other than that, I don't think much has really changed since the last time I was on, even though that was months ago.
It was the
You were
beginning
still-
of
you
the
were still-
lockdown.
I was in
You were
Cape
still-
Cod. Yeah, I'm in
Oh.
Boston now.
Right, because we had you on when we had everyone on. That's true.
Yeah.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that episode. You're right.
Man, that feels like forever ago, but it feels like the
God.
world hasn't changed.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been in the U.S. for like 5 or 6 months now.
Yeah.
Like, the time where I wasn't the time from when I got back to now, it just feels so short. But it was actually like half a year. Like I haven't done the math. It's about as long as I was gone for, pretty much at this point, which is
That's
Right.
insane.
Well, you're playing D&D.
Oh yeah. We started playing D&D, and so
Cam
for
is
one
the
of my
DM.
one of my classes actually is a wait, which class is that? The procedural generation class, where we're going to learn in theory how to do procedural generation and stuff, and we have to
No
come
way.
up with a project, an individual project. So I have two projects that I have to do. One of them's a group project, one of them's an individual project. And so for this individual project, I was thinking, man, making towns is really hard and time consuming. I should, for my project, make a procedural, program that can procedurally generate towns for me in D&D so that I don't have to do it all out by hand all the time.
right.
So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. And it doesn't seem out of the scope of reality to do in one semester, but we'll see.
You could
Nah.
just do it for like names of like people in towns if it's too much to make a whole town and like use some
Yeah,
sort of...
make a residence list or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
not a
super
bad
sick,
idea.
man. Yeah, that's super cool.
But other than that, I've been playing a lot of games. I've been playing a lot. So the 3 systems that I've mostly been playing probably are the Genesis, of course,
Of course.
the Saturn, and the PlayStation 2, which was really my like contemporary childhood system. Like, because I owned a Genesis, but it was out of date when I got it.
Course. Right.
So the first system that I had that was actually up to date was the PS2, and so I've been revisiting that, and it's been awesome. I've been getting some games that I didn't own back then, and right now in 2020, collecting for the PS2 is not stupid. It's
As
not
opposed to, like-
ridiculously expensive.
As opposed to like literally anything, right? Like
Literally
GameCube
anything
prices,
that came out before it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
GameCube
even
prices have
N64,
spiked.
PS1 games. Yeah, GameCube is ridiculous. Like, and that's the same generation as the PS2. So I
Right,
don't know
right.
what's up with that. Well, I guess it didn't do as well because
It's also harder to pirate a GameCube disc.
yeah, that's
I guess
true.
that's true. Yeah, I've even considered starting collecting for Xbox, even though I never owned one, and I have literally no sentimental value for it, just because I know it's pretty
It's
cheap too.
Dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I have my one in a box, but I haven't sold it because like whatever, it's cool, but also I'd get
Yeah.
like $80 for like
Yeah,
everything I own.
You know, most of the games that I used to play on the PS2, I could probably get
Mhm.
them on the
Yeah.
like the 007s and
Yeah,
Grand
and
Theft Autos
Halo.
whatever.
Yeah, you
And
should play
Halo, yeah.
Halo 1 if you do get one because it is
Yeah,
really
right.
the system seller.
Yeah, and the from what I understand, also, if you wanted to get the physical games, but for whatever reason you didn't want to get a system, if you get an emulator and you have a decent enough computer, you could probably pop them in a disk drive, and I think you can play them that way.
That would work. No way. Interesting.
I think so. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
360 also plays.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
that
Yeah.
too.
I think
It is-
some of them don't work anymore.
I
But I
think
think
the
it's most
majority
of
of them do.
Yeah, most of them work, and some
Yeah.
that didn't work for me might be because like the disc got scratched like over time.
I think
Right,
the
right.
360 is pretty good with backwards compatibility. It's not like the Xbox One that was like, oh, we have to pick and choose these games that are going
Yeah, the Xbox One is so stupid because they
yeah.
they just digitally like re-release the games. So
Right.
owning the disc is pointless anyways,
So
and it's
weird.
just that Microsoft deciding if you're allowed to play it or not.
I will say though, I have vouched against ever owning an Xbox 360 again in my entire life.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you use Red Ring?
I originally owned one. Like you know what I mean? I transitioned from owning a PS2 and a GameCube to owning an Xbox 360, and it never lasted more than a year. Like the first Xbox 360 I got in like 2010, and it lasted I think like 4 weeks before I got Red Ring. You know, I was here in Honduras, so like sending it to Microsoft and having it sent back to me was a huge fucking mess. I didn't get it back until like 4 or 5 months later, right? Not only that, when I got it back, the longest it lasted was like 9 or 10 months maybe, and then it red ringed again. And I was
That's
like,
right.
ridiculous.
fuck this bullshit, you know what I
It
mean?
definitely happened often to me, but I was in the US, so it like was annoying in being in like high school or whatever, and having to send, or probably middle school, and having to send it in. But like it only took like a week or two, so
Yeah,
it wasn't like ruining the console.
right. For me, it was like a lot longer, right? And
Yeah.
like I decided to fuck it, get rid of it, and I got a PS3 still in like 2010, 2011, and it's solid to this day. Solid. So
Have you seen the Stop Skeletons video on the Red Ring?
I have. I don't really remember what he really talks about, but I have. I'm sure I have seen it.
Everything you just said, he like explains like why. It's like, God, it's so ridiculous that the Xbox did as well as it did with how horrible, honestly, the hardware was.
No, fuck that shit. I vow to never own a subsequent. You know, I'm open to owning an original Xbox just because it's the original Xbox, like the first one that ever came out. But I vowed to never own an Xbox product ever again.
Yeah,
because fuck that shit, right?
Yeah, I will say the controllers. I've never had an Xbox anything, but I have had most of the controllers just because they work so easily on a PC. And in high school, I was a big PC gamer, but I had the same experience with my laptop in high school where it kept breaking and I had to keep sending it in, and it was super frustrating.
What kind of laptop was it?
It's just a shitty laptop. It was not a gaming compatible anything. It was just
so you were like overheating it or whatever.
Absolute trash. Yeah.
Fucking frying it. Yeah. Gotcha.
I remember at my worst, I found out you could unplug the laptop and it wouldn't overheat. So I would play TF2 for like an hour at a time with it unplugged, and then I would plug it back in and charge it up to full, and then unplug it and play TF2 for another hour.
I've never heard of a laptop that runs better off main power. That's so weird.
So bizarre, dude.
Well, shit, dude. Mario 35th anniversary shit.
God.
Right. Do we wanna touch upon this?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we should. For context, the everything Mario 35th anniversary, all the videos dropped today as we're recording this.
It's Thursday, September 3rd, and they all dropped this morning. Yeah. So we had a few things announced, right? Of course, I think the biggest one, the ones that most people were expecting already, was the 3D collection bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about this?
I'm mixed about it.
How
I guess so. Well, first of all, the fact that everything is getting spoiled through rumors is annoying. I've stopped looking. I had to stop watching Arlo's videos because he talks about rumors all the time, and I just honestly don't want to hear them. Like, I'd rather be watching a direct and be like, whoa.
Be surprised. That's fair.
Yeah. But in regards of the actual game itself, I mean, to me, it seems like a really cool idea, especially when you compare it to Link's Awakening. Is that the one that just came out?
Yeah.
The Game Boy remake that was $60.
Yeah, man.
You know, a Game Boy game for $60 versus one N64, one GameCube, and one Wii game for $60. Like,
I mean, it's still probably a bad deal, but it is a better deal.
If you were to buy them in the aftermarket right now, Sunshine goes for $60 by itself.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's actually not that bad. But the fact that they're limiting it, I mean, they have a reason. I don't know what it is.
I was gonna say, what do we make of them limiting?
If it's digitally limited, super fucked up.
It's ridiculous if it's digitally limited.
Yeah.
Even if it's physically limited, it's Nintendo. Like,
it's supposed to be physically. I mean, digitally limited as well. Like you can only purchase it digitally up until March 31st or some bullshit.
It's senseless.
What do we make of this? Like, what do you think? If you can think of a reason why they would do that, what do you think that is?
I can think of a reason. Nintendo always artificially creates scarcity with their shit.
Amiibos, they did it.
Right. Yeah, but
with the fucking NES Classic too, right?
Yeah.
They like every store got like 3 of those or some shit.
Like, I don't understand why, because they're not the ones who make money on the aftermarket. They just create hype for their things.
Yeah, I guess they just want to get people talking about it, and it does work to some degree because people are like, then really, if there's like a re-release later, then people are like, no, I really have to get it because I missed it the first time.
Honestly, I hate the whole limited edition culture with video games that's going on right now.
I
hate it. It's so just like disgusting because like it would be fine. Like in an ideal world, they're like, okay, we're only printing 2,000 of fucking, I don't know, Risk of Rain physical or something. And, you know, ideally, you know, 2,000 people who get to the website are like, oh my God, Risk of Rain's my favorite game. I need to own it physically, and they get it. But that's not what happens. 1,500 scalpers get there, and then, you know, 500 people get it. And then it's on eBay instantly. Like sometimes scalpers will get it, and before it's even shipped, they'll put it up on eBay because it's like arriving in a few days or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll just immediately put it on eBay just to make a profit. And it's absolutely disgusting, and I hate it.
It's garbage. And the issue is that a lot of people have like systems set up for it. They have like bots making sure that they like, purchase it as soon as it's available and shit like that. So there's just no way you can, like, if you're like a regular human being who like doesn't know, like I have no idea how to like fucking program a bot to like buy me a fucking copy of whatever release game. You know what I mean? And it just sucks, right? Because like I don't know, like I was having this conversation with Matthew earlier. Like I'm a big fan of Nintendo, like as a brand. You know what I mean? Like beyond like the games that they put out and shit like that. So I just like to collect like a lot of their products just because I like them as a brand. And I do have to give into this shit because I know, you know what I mean? I have to like pre-order this and whatever because I know that if I don't, someone else will, and someone else will make a profit out of it, which is fucking bullshit.
What really disgusts me is when a company, especially when it's big as Nintendo, will do like a limited pre-order. Especially if you're a big company like Nintendo, like if you're doing a limited pre-order, that's actually insane. Where like just figure out how many people want it and then produce that many. I mean, I don't know much about how like hardware is built, but you know, I assume if you have the factories up and you're making a profit off of each unit you sell, like you should be able to just take inventory on what people want. I'm specifically referring to the expensive Game Boy FPGA, the analog.
Right. I will say in regards to that, like I don't know how big that company is, and I don't know how much like COVID is affecting the production of that shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
Specific to that one, I mean. But when it comes to Nintendo, I do think it's absolutely fair. Like I think the whole NES thing, that was absolute total bullshit, right? Because it's exactly what you guys said. Like every store,
I wonder how much it costs now.
Every store got like 3 of those, 3, 4, or 5 of those, I think is what I heard. And then like it sold out like immediately. And then of course like 4 or 5 months later, even after they released the SNES Classic, they reprinted the NES Classic. You know what I mean? So it was just to create.
Oh my God, it's $200 on Amazon.
Wait, what is?
Yeah, for real.
The NES Classic.
What?
Shit,
yeah.
How much was the SNES one? I still see that in stores.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. You can get the I'm getting the Famicom one for like $70 if you want to buy it from
I
Japan.
don't.
Yeah.
I mean that happened to the TurboGrafx Mini too. It immediately sold out, and you just like can't get it now. And it's like that's going
SNES
through
Classic,
Konami.
130 refurbished, out of stock.
Really?
On Amazon, and you can probably find it on like eBay.
Who the fuck refurbishes an SNES Classic?
Yeah, I don't know. It just means pre-owned, but it sounds better.
Yeah,
right. I suppose, right?
And maybe they put a bunch of ROMs on it and then took them off. Like,
yeah, right.
It's 120 on eBay, no shipping. It's pretty bad
for the SNES. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I bought mine for me to play, and I kept the box for a long time. And then the other day, I was just like, you know what? I want this for me, and I really just don't want this box. Like, even if I'm going to resell it someday, I know I'll make more money with the box.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to carry around this stupid cardboard box everywhere I move.
Mm-hmm.
So I just threw it out because, first of all, cardboard is dumb. And I hate when games come in cardboard, like SNES games. But so I just got rid of it because I hate the secondhand market so much.
Yeah, dude, it's garbage. Video games. It is garbage.
So dumb.
Like, it used to be on eBay, it would just be someone selling it, but now someone will buy a bunch of it, and if they see someone selling it for less, they'll just buy it from that person and then add it to their like stock of it. And then there's just like one guy with all the SNES classics selling it.
It's ridiculous, dude.
It's become like a business is the thing, right? It used to be like a hobby, but now it's pretty much become like a business in and of itself, and people of course are trying to like take advantage of it, I suppose, right?
Yeah, the reason I got into playing old games wasn't just because I owned a Sega Genesis. It was because I owned a Sega Genesis and I could get, 30 Sega Genesis games for the same price as one or two new games on the whatever current system. And so I did that, and I just bought a ton of games back then. But you can't do that anymore. Like, it's just not possible.
This is just capitalism at work.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, God, dude, I know.
God damn. Right.
I hate it so much. The same thing happens with video, like anything video game related. When they make like those video game vinyl records and stuff, like the Katamari one went for like $30 or something when it was released from some website, and now you can't find it on eBay for under $100.
Yeah.
Is there even demand for this? Like,
and the thing, bringing it back to Nintendo is the fact that Nintendo know this shit, right?
Yeah.
They're purposefully doing this shit, knowing that there will be scalpers out there fucking the actual fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're right. I do think that's kind of.
I mean, it seems pretty obvious, but you can't really prove anything when they're like, "Oh, we just thought this would be enough physical editions." But if you stop selling the digital edition, it's very clearly just being anti-consumer. Like, there's no excuse. You couldn't host the server for the files to download them or whatever.
But then they will host the file for like the absolute most trash games that they sell for like a cent on the eShop.
Yeah, they're on sale 90% of the time to game the system.
Nintendo is such a I am just like, I have so much like dissonance in my head about them because they do shit like this, but then like when they were in serious financial trouble during the Wii U times, like Miyamoto, Iwata, they all like cut their salaries by a ton just so they didn't have to fire anyone. And it's like, wow, that's so admirable. But also like, look at this stupid shit you're doing now.
And you just gotta wonder why. Like, what's the thought process behind it, right? And who is driving this bullshit?
It's fucking Bowser.
But I know Matthew, fucking Bowser. Matthew's probably not. You're probably not gonna go into the 3D All Stars, right? You're probably not gonna go ahead and get that.
Not firsthand for sure, and it'll just be more expensive secondhand.
Yeah, you're not
going to make enough. But I don't. I've played Mario 64 a lot. It's a great game, but I don't want to play in my opinion, objectively worse patch version. Because I think the glitches are fun.
Line is gone.
No, I like to do the stupid glitches and get really fast and like get through walls and stuff because you can't like soft lock your file. It's just like, I don't know. I hate that approach to a game where like there's an exploit, but it's fun and it's it won't come up unless you like really are unlucky or you like go look it up, and it's like just let people enjoy this part of the game. Like, it is now part of the game.
It's not something that like actually breaks the game and makes it unplayable, right?
It was an error on your part, but the game maybe even be better for it. So I think you should just leave it alone and then let people enjoy it the way it is.
And we think you're probably right. I think we all think that like the version that is going to be patched into this package is going to be like the cleaned up version or whatever.
Yeah, the
Most
updated
likely.
Japanese release, whatever it's called.
Yeah, most likely. That's true.
And
How about you?
I do like. I wish the Gay Bowser line was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a meme.
did.
I love that shit. I hope so too. I hope it is on there, but like most likely it won't be. How about you, Cam? Are you looking into acquiring this shit at all?
I pre-ordered it today from Best Buy. Yeah, because I've never played any of them before. I haven't played
Right.
64. I haven't played Sunshine. I've played an hour of Galaxy.
Right,
And
right.
they're all games that I would really like to play, but never. I didn't have. Well, I mean, I had a Wii, but I didn't. I never had Galaxy, and I never bought Sunshine before. And and ever since I played Odyssey, which I really like. I don't think Spencer likes it.
I don't
People seem
mind it,
to
yeah.
say 64 is a lot more like Odyssey, in that it's more sort of open because you have to go back
Right.
to the same worlds over and over again.
Right. Yep.
And I played like 10 minutes of it at Rod's house or something on the N64, which was the only time I've ever played on an N64, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
So I do want to play it, and I don't know it, so the fact that the super long jumping stuff isn't there doesn't really bother me per se.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I totally agree that it's kind of weird that they are bringing that patched version in.
Yeah, especially just because people like have that extreme nostalgia from Mario 64.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that different, but you might as well just give the US version to the US release.
Yeah, I mean, the US version is the one that gets all the speed runs, and it's like one of the biggest games in all of speedrunning.
And it means the speedrun on Switch is going to suck because
it's just not going to exist. They're not going to run it.
I mean, someone will, just to have the record.
Some people will, but
they did it at GDQ, that version, just by chance. Yeah, and you need to be like tasked to get going fast enough to like skip things in that. So the speedrun will just be walking around and doing the game normally, which some people do like. I mean, there is like glitchless stuff, but it's just a shame that you can't do the speedrun portably. It would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be sick. Yeah, you could practice on the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I did pre-order it too. I do think like a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is very valid, and I do share most, if not all, of the things that we've talked about today. But again, I just like Nintendo, and I like Mario merchandise just for the sake of it being Mario merchandise, and especially if it's branded like the 35th anniversary of it and everything. That's just I'm just straight up sold. You know what I mean? I'm just straight up sold right
We're only
there.
talking about Mario 64, but there are other games on it.
Yeah,
that's true.
I have Galaxy, so I could just play it if I wanted to on the Wii, and my friend has what's it called, Sunshine, and I don't even really care for it that much, so I don't know, I'm not that motivated to get the collection.
That's fair. I've never played Sunshine either, and like I do own Galaxy on the Wii, but of course always portability is always such a big thing, right? But I've never played Sunshine, which I'm interested in checking out. And 64 again, I never owned it on the 64. I know I played a bit like a bit of it. I tried playing it on the DS, but I don't like the DS version. And so I'm hoping that it's weird. Yeah, it's weird. It just feels like it's not the same game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And so
I'm like the Donkey Kong 64, where you have to bring the right character to the right level.
Yeah. Right. So I wasn't ever really into that, and I am hoping to get more out of that.
One thing that bothers me about the Switch is, for me, it's not really portable because it's fucking huge. Like a Game Boy Advance SP, I would throw that shit in my pocket in middle school and bring it to school and play games and stuff,
Right. But dude, I would bring my Game Boy Advance SP and take it, because like when I was in elementary school, we used to take like bimester tests, and like that's all we would do pretty much like during the day. And like when I was done with one of my tests, we had those desks that had that hole in the middle where you can put your books in. When I was done with my test, I would turn my test in, and I would just like sneak in my Game Boy and just fucking play.
Right, dude.
I guess you really couldn't do that with a Switch. You're right.
It's so cumbersome. And I mean, honestly, part of it is that it's widescreen.
Right.
4x3 thing is just going to be smaller and more compact. But I mean, the PSP Go to me is a really good size.
Yeah.
But it's really not fun to play on.
If
I'm being honest, it hurts my hands. In particular, actually, I've been playing Me and My Katamari, I think. Either that or My Beautiful Katamari. It's some Katamari game on the PSP.
And that breaks your hands?
which I was super excited for it. And the first time I was playing it plugged in, because you can plug it into a TV with component cables, which is insane,
right.
and use a PS3 controller. And so I start playing, and nothing's happening, and it's because the PSP doesn't have 2 analog sticks like a PS3 controller does. So instead, you use the D-pad and all the face buttons to move.
Oh,
And so when you're doing that on this really thin piece of metal, it like really just fucks your hands up. And it's kind of awful.
Moving kind of already sucks in Katamari, so I could imagine when you have no longer 2 analog sticks, it just gets worse.
It's very weird. I actually prefer to play that game in handheld on the PSP as opposed to up on the screen, just because, you know, seeing those analog sticks there and not being able to use them is kind of the worst. But yeah, I mean, I think you can get grips for the PSP Go to make it better, but yeah, it's just not ideal to play on.
It shouldn't need external shit to make it feel okay in your hand.
To make it playable, right.
I mean, my DS is hard plastic, but it doesn't wear on my fingers.
Yeah.
So pretty much what I'm saying is, for me, the most portable and easy to game on system is still the GBA SP.
I think the DS is just in 3DS and all the DSs that they're just like a wide.
They're good. They're just
they fit in your back pocket.
The DS Lite is pretty good. I would say that the DS Lite design is fucking top notch.
It's really pretty.
Yeah,
it's a good looking machine,
and it's sleek and it's portable. Yeah, it pretty much fits everywhere. I would say. I think it's comparable to the SP.
I guess the Switch isn't like a portable console as much as like a play anywhere around your home console.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, like one of my favorite memories of owning a Switch is playing Blazing Chrome all the way through with my buddy at a coffee shop, like in one sitting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's something really that you couldn't do as easily with a fucking Game Boy SP. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I mean that wasn't. Yeah, the only way you ever did multiplayer on that would have been either like taking turns in Super Mario,
I hate the link
or the link cables.
Yeah.
It's just for me, like the Switch feels more of like you have to make a plan to go play outside.
That's
with it
true. No, that's
whereas
true.
the SP, you can just like bring it with you, and then you're like, oh, I have 10 minutes. Let me catch 4 Pokemon, and then whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Or I have my Game Boy Micro. I used to bring it everywhere, and I was just
the Game Boy Micro is even smaller, right?
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
I used to just beat like a Donkey Kong level whenever I had like 2 minutes. You know what I mean? And this fucking
yeah, exactly. I remember we used to go to fucking iCrave, and I was playing through Donkey Kong Country for the first time. I had it on GBA, and while we were waiting for our coffee to come out, you know, I would play through a level of Donkey Kong Country, and then I can't drink really hot coffee because I don't like when the roof of my mouth is destroyed, unlike some people. So I need to wait for it to cool off. So, you know, I'd play another level, and it was freaking awesome. But like with the Switch, I wouldn't do that. It's just so big and bulky and cumbersome. I don't know.
No, that is physical.
Yeah, I get that. I remember when you bought that, Daniel. That was a weird time.
I was just gonna bring this up.
Instructions of like where this kid's. It was just like a kid too.
the Micro, right?
Yeah. We had no idea like where to go. We were just on the street, and like this kid pops out. And he's like, "Hey, you're the guys buying the game."
Yeah, and it was fucking pouring all the drive through.
It was like 7 p.m. too. It was dark as hell.
Yeah,
right. It was dark as hell. It was raining really, and it was in fucking Lawrence. Yeah. Lawrence is like one of those toughest places in Massachusetts, as far as I've heard. So but I'm not gonna lie. I will say I got a good deal of it. You really can get a Game Boy Micro in the condition that I got mine in.
Didn't you also get some like bootleg cartridge or something?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I got the bootleg cartridge that has all the Pokemon and all the Game Boy, all the Mario for the GBA. Yeah, that's true.
Even regular Game Boy Advances go for a lot right now. Like $80, $90.
No shit.
Yeah.
Like the regular, the first one?
Yeah, the freaking AA battery powered piece of shit.
Not even like fucking screen modded or anything? I don't believe that.
Maybe they are. It seems like every time you look up Game Boy Advances now, they're always just like pre-modded at this point.
That's
which is kind of weird, but whatever. I don't really care.
That is expensive though for a fucking original model GBA.
Yeah,
and there's not much point in actually getting one these days.
I'm glad I still have my old one because I'm not trying to drop that much money on a Game Boy now.
Dude, would you believe that I lost 2 original model GBAs when I was a kid? 2.
What the hell did you do?
I feel like an asshole. I feel like such an asshole.
You're so bulky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I had one in my pocket when I was playing in like a ball pool or whatever the fuck you call those. At, like,
Oh yeah.
Ball pit, yeah.
Oh my god.
ball pit, yeah.
Can
So I
you
guess it
imagine?
must have slipped out, and I fucking hated myself for that.
Right.
And
Some
then
kid
my
must have
parents,
found that.
yeah, can you imagine how lucky?
Lucky kid. Holy shit.
And then my parents bought me another, like a year later, right, when it was a lot cheaper. They bought me another one that I just really have no idea where that went. Like, I must have just like stopped playing it because I like outgrew it for a bit or something, and I have no idea where the fuck that could have ended up in. Honest to God, like that one, I just really have no idea where or how it got lost.
That sucks.
Yeah. All right. So Mario 35th anniversary stuff. I don't know, Matthew. Do you have anything on the table you wanted to bring?
I don't know. Cam and I were playing Apex a little beforehand,
Apex Legends.
and I have such a weird relationship with that game because I really like the game. I think it's super well made, but it's on Origin, and I fucking hate Origin.
It's so. I mean, the fact that we have Origin installed on our computers just for Apex Legends,
God damn,
shows how good of a game Apex Legends is.
Like today, they made a very minor change, and we had to download the update. And Cam was waiting for me, and my update was done, but it was just like, finalizing files or whatever for like 5 minutes. It's like Skype, where if you close it, it doesn't close. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking force quit with Task Manager, and so I forcibly close all instances of Origin, open it, and then the game is just ready to go. And it's like, okay, thank you for this cool program. It does not work at all.
Yeah, dude. I will say I have owned Origin, but like I have owned Origin for like old ass games, right? When I bought the Command and Conquer collection or whatever for like $5 once, and like that Origin won't really give you issues to play.
You don't need to update it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that. I bought those like 5 years ago, and I don't know. I just have never re-downloaded on any like newer computer that I've owned.
Right.
I've owned like 2 computers since because they've all broken, and I've never re-downloaded Origin again.
There was actually a pretty big Rocket League announcement. They announced when it was going to go free to play, and I think it's this month, but I don't remember the exact date. But they announced a bunch of stuff for the change and like the transition over to it. I think it's going to be like September 22nd or something. So anyone who's always wanted to play Rocket League, I guess now you can just play it for free.
Is that going to be the case on console too?
I have no idea, actually.
But
I haven't looked too far into it because it doesn't affect me really.
Yeah. But Matthew, Cameron, and I do play a lot of Rocket League. So if you're listening to this shit and you are looking into getting into Rocket League once it becomes free to play, hit us up.
Yeah. Shout out to Owen who paid for it.
Right.
R.I.P.
And it's Daniel's fault.
Yeah, not bad.
Because Owen is like, if you watch this anime, I'll buy Rocket League. And then Daniel just didn't, and he bought Rocket League anyways. And you still haven't watched it.
Oh, and dude, if you're listening to this shit, I know you don't often listen to our show, but if you happen to catch this episode, I'm sorry, man. That's all I have. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to talk about Spectre of Torment, dog. That's the game that I played all through last week.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking loved it, man. Not gonna lie. I don't know what it is about Yacht Club games, so I'm not sure if I've said this on the show before. I probably have, but just in case. Shovel Knight is like my absolute favorite game ever. I played it for the first time in 2018. I bought it for the Switch. And I like it so much that I haven't even felt compelled to like go into like the expansions because I'm playing it and yeah, they're cool, but like I'm always like, I could just be playing Shovel Knight and feel like a lot happier. You know what I mean? But I did end up playing Spectre Torment all last week, and I fucking loved it, man.
Yeah.
Really, really good time. Just like even story wise, like whatever people don't really play. I know, but it's super heartfelt too. It's like really well like constructed and everything, and like whatever, right? I know people don't play platformers for the story, but like it's not like the game is any worse for having it. In fact, I think it makes it better, right? It makes it just like all that more interesting.
Well, I didn't like having to play the flashbacks, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I think they're pretty short anyway. Like I don't.
Yeah, they were fine. I was just like, I want this. I want to play the rest of the game.
The rest of the game,
not like this other guy.
Right. I mean, I think that's fair. But I did like it. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because we're going into this, I guess, new segment on the show. And I was telling Matthew about random shit on the internet that Daniel looks at and makes him mad.
Yeah. It seems to happen a lot.
Yeah, right. I saw a video review on YouTube about Spectre Torment. And first of all, it has a really clickbaity like title, right? It was like the Spectre of Torment, the worst Shovel Knight expansion, whatever. Yeah, and so like okay, whatever, right? This is before I finished the game. I had just played like a couple of stages at this point. I went into it, right? And like, okay, so first of all, the dude says that like the curios or whatever you call them, he says that he says the power-ups, he says that they're really fun to use and whatever. But then in the same video, he goes on to say that they're the reason why he thinks this is the worst Shovel Knight expansion, because they're so fun to play, but they make the game so easy, they pretty much break the game. And he says that they're still available during New Game Plus, so New Game Plus isn't even that much harder. And I'm like, dude, like, the game is designed for you to play it and make it as hard and challenging as you fucking wanted it to be. You know what I mean? Like, saying that the power ups in Spectre of Torment is like a flaw and makes the game objectively less good. It's like saying fucking Mega Man power ups every time you beat a robot master makes the game worse.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, Shovel Knight 1 is obscenely unbalanced in power-ups. You can just go invincible for like very low mana cost and just be invincible the whole boss fight. And it's like, I still really like that game, but you can definitely cheese it if that's all you care about is winning.
Right. But that's why I think the game is so clever in a way, right? Because it is that's why I say it is designed for you to make it as challenging as you want to, right? Like, the power-up is there, and you could not use it for the rest of the game, but there is the one bonus stage that you do have to use it for, right? Like the one bonus stage that is designed around that. So like even then, even though you don't have to use it if you don't want to for the rest of the game, it is justified by this one, by this one like bonus stage. And I think that's super clever. That you still have the one stage that you absolutely do have to use it if you want to beat it.
Right.
And it doesn't feel like you're just cheesing it. It feels like you're using it to beat this level that was designed around it.
Because they're required to get it.
Yeah. So yeah, right. I just think that's it. I never really used any of the curios. I used them to beat those like little shovelly. I mean, those night little
and then people who like roam.
Yeah, like no. Just like there's like little knights, different colored knights. They're just like little enemies in the game that just like they'll parry your attacks and shit like that.
Yeah, they're annoying.
And yeah, I've always thought those were super annoying, even in the original Shovel Knight. So I just used the curio that like kills them in one hit. But that's like pretty much the only time I ever used them. You know what I mean? So like,
I can't even remember like what I used or if I used many at all, because I just remember the gameplay like of skating around and dashing.
Yeah, it's really satisfying to skate and zoom off of lanterns and stuff.
I think the platforming is super. It's not. I won't say it's hard. I don't think it's terribly hard, but it's still super fun. Just like the momentum that you get just from like moving around and like figuring out how to zip through like the lamps and whatever. I don't know. I thought it was super fun. I fucking love that game. God damn. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't know if you guys have anything to add.
When I got Shovel Knight, Plague of Shadows was already out, but Spectre of Torment had not come out yet. So I played Shovel Knight and Plague of Shadows back to back, and then I think Spectre of Torment came out like a month later or something. So I was kind of I don't love Shovel Knight as much as you do. I still think it's a really good game, but I was kind of burnt out at that point.
That's fair.
And so I played through about half of it and then stopped. And then I got like a new controller or something for PC and finished the rest of it like a year later or something. But it's still super fun. I think definitely agree though that the base Shovel Knight game is probably the best.
Right.
But it's really interesting how they're able to take this one game and just create like literally like new games
around like the basic idea, right? I think that's wild. Yeah, fucking clever. Fucking clever.
I think King of Cards, I would say, is definitely the worst, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
being the worst Shovel Knight game is pretty good still.
That's the only one I haven't played yet, so
I have not yet.
I just haven't feel compelled to finish it. I don't know.
Right, I haven't gotten into that.
You don't have to do it, but it has like the weird trading card board game aspect as well. I think you can totally ignore it if you don't like it, but it's there to like get money or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one that I haven't even touched at all. I did try to get into Plague Knight, whatever it's called. I don't even remember.
Oh yeah,
Plague of Shadows. Is that it?
Plague of Shadows.
Plague of Shadows.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's just when I play this kind of platformer, I expect like really tight controls, and I'm not saying that Plague of Shadows controls are not tight. It's just, you know what I mean, like to move around. Yeah, it's just different because to move around in the way that the game wants you to move around, you have to like throw bombs and you have to land
Yeah,
them.
it's very vertical.
Yeah, right. And so, you know what I mean? When I play Shovel Knight, I like it because you move and you jump and you pogo, and it's just all very, you know what I mean?
Deliberate.
Very, exactly.
Yeah.
Very tight. Very tight. And I feel like Plague of Shadows just goes a little bit too far from that, reason why I like Shovel Knight so much that it was really hard for me to get into it. I do intend to get back to it very soon.
Yeah, I felt like I used there's an item that like lets you put a platform under you when you're midair, and I felt like I used that a lot because I would always be like flying around like crazy and trying to stabilize myself, and then I would rely on the platform.
I think I did the same thing.
I don't think I got as far as to.
It's probably like halfway through.
Yeah, I don't think I'd even got that far yet. But again, I do want to get in. I do want to go ahead and play it.
So I have a question for you, Daniel. So I don't remember if it was the most recent episode or the one before that, but you were talking about some book snob collecting hardcover.
Wait, yeah, this relates back to, we totally got off topic. Daniel was going to talk about his new segment of things that piss him off.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, dude. Yeah.
And I was wondering if that same logic that you had where like this dude's just buying a book to keep it on a shelf, how you feel that way, if you felt the same way about games.
Oh yeah, I told Daniel this.
Yeah. We actually had this conversation with Matthew, and I'm glad you brought it up because I did want to clarify one thing, right? Okay, so first of all, it's not, I don't get upset about the fact that people like collect books and like they want to keep them in a certain condition. I don't think that's inherently bad. I do, as I think I mentioned this in the previous episode, that I will always encourage people to like not do that, because not doing that made my own reading experience like exponentially better.
Mm-hmm.
And if it can do that for me, I'm sure it could do that for someone else, right? So I will always encourage people to at least give it a try, right? The issue that I have is that a lot of people just have like this preconceived notion that they, you know what I mean? And I say that from experience, right? Because I've heard a lot of people talk and like use this wording, right? I've heard a lot of people say that like a book is sacred, a book is like fucking, you know what I mean? And that's what bothers me, because it just feels like people don't even give it a chance. People, not only do they not give a chance to like really make that book yours in that way, like adding your notes and whatever, but like they, the way that this dude on Twitter that I was talking to worded it, right? He said that it was a sin for him to like fold pages. And that's what really irritates me, right? Because like that's basically telling me that the way that I read and the way that I enjoy my books is wrong. You know what I mean? And that's just not something, this is something that I was talking to Matthew about. Like I was telling, we were talking with Matthew earlier that I fucking love that Game & Watch thing just because I like to own Nintendo merchandise, just because I'm such a big fan of the brand, right? Not necessarily because of the utility that I think that I can get out of a product. I just like owning Nintendo merchandise because I like Nintendo. But I don't think Matthew is wrong for thinking it's a waste of money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't totally understand that. Even the example that I told Matt when we were talking about this is Shovel Knight is my absolute favorite fucking game in history. And if you want to play it, even if you want to pirate it, I will never tell you that it's wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Whereas this dude straight up told me like it's a sin to fold pages in your books. You know what I mean? So like, I know, right? And that's what really like annoys me. I do like collecting physical games but even then I think it's different, right? Because like I can own like a box, but I don't need the box to like enjoy the game. I can just pop in the cartridge.
It's different, but you did say you said you were gonna buy something and not play it just to have it, which is the same.
Right. But I haven't done that, right? Like I still like to give it a shot, and I thought about that with like Pokemon. And the Pokemon is very.
Oh, it was Pokemon. That's right.
Yeah, and Pokemon is a very particular case, just because I know that Pokemon cartridges, at least older Pokemon cartridges, have spiked in prices. Right. And that was like the only reason why, like, I thought about, wow, maybe I should just get a fucking physical copy of Pokemon Sword, just whatever, right? But even, you know what I mean? Like Breath of the Wild I bought, and I've only put in like 4 hours into that or whatever. But like, I did try to play it, and I know it's there if I ever want to get back to it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever bought a game specifically to not play it just to own it. You know what I mean? Like, I always bought it with the intention to like fucking play it. And even then, you know what I mean? Like, I own my game. I own my Game Boy Micro. I own my Game Boy SP. And I have a couple of copies of the Castlevania games. And I have like a repro card for the Castlevania games. And even that I don't mind. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
again, it's just that, right? Like being told that the way that I read is wrong. Not only that, but also like this preconceived notion that I've seen and heard people like adopt from I don't even know where, right? Like, why? Like people don't really like. People have never been able to like tell me why. You know what I mean? They just pick up they pick up this like notion from somewhere and they just like live with it and they don't even give it a try to like try writing on their books and just I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a big reader at all. But there were a couple books that I did read recently, and I personally don't enjoy writing in my books just because it takes more time, and I don't really like reading. But the ones that I did enjoy reading, I would read them on the train, and when I had to get off at my stop, all of a sudden, I didn't really use a bookmark because I was throwing them in my bag and stuff. So I would bend the pages, and not only would I bend the pages, I would bend them to the end of the paragraph that I was, that I just finished, because I wouldn't, I was on the train. I wasn't going to finish a chapter every time. And so I found a lot of utility in doing that. And, I would write in the front, actually, where I got the book and who I got it from and when I got it. Because for me, I don't read books ever. So to know when I read through this book was like a cool thing. And also I was in Europe too, which was pretty cool. So like one of them I got in Italy. So I wrote like, I got this in Italy.
I do the same shit. Like, in fact, I like sign the last page of a book. Whenever I finish reading a book, I like sign it. Like I write in my initials. I write in when the date that I finished reading it, and I write in where I was. And that I like that you bring that up, because that's another point that I have. Like, to me, like, this dude is talking about how nice a hardcover looks on a bookshelf, and that's fine.
Which is great.
That's fine. But to me, like, I will always find a book that looks owned a lot more interesting than a book that history. I feel like, than a book that I feel like no one's ever touched before. You know what I mean? Like, I will, if I'm at your house, right? And if I see these books that you got in Europe and I see how you like handled them because you throw them in your bag because you were reading them whenever, whatever, I think that's so much more interesting. You know what I mean? Than just keeping it in like a pristine condition just because whatever. You know what I mean? Again, this is just me. And I'm not saying that like doing it otherwise is wrong. It's just, I personally will find it infinitely more interesting when I can see evidence that you own this book. You know what I mean? And that you've actually like looked over it and read it and like, you know what I mean? Just like enjoyed it. Just enjoyed it,
I think Neil Gaiman had a whole like preamble thing in one of his books.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Fuck off, Daniel.
I'm so sorry.
Where he said like he was always impressed by the people who claimed to love his books the most were the ones who would bring him these like disgusting piles of like soaking wet destroyed book because they just like read it in the bathtub and just like everywhere they were, and he always like really appreciated that.
Right. And that's how I feel about it, right? Like I was talking about how I like paperbacks better just because they're easier to carry around. I can just throw them in my bag and whatever and read them wherever, So yeah. I think those are my thoughts on the issue.
All right. Do you still want to talk about I don't know, whatever you were going to talk about that made you mad? I don't know.
That was it. That was the video review on the dude.
Oh, okay.
I've got something that makes me mad.
Do
it. So I made a video recently on Shining Force 3.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't think we've ever mentioned on the show the Cameron Nook Miles Tales Power NBA Jam Tournament Edition Mitchell actually has a YouTube channel. Andrew, or just Boffner is YouTube
just
channel.
Boffner, yeah.
Yeah, really, really cool video as he's on a lot of interesting video games. You were gonna go into that.
So yeah, I made this one video on Shining Force 3, which is it could be a whole discussion on its own. But anyway, Matt, you've played Shining Force 2.
I have, and I watched the video as well.
So Shining Force 1, so pretty much every Shining Force game has a chapter system. So it's like, it's not just linear, it's like linear in the sense that once a chapter ends, you can't go back. You can't backtrack at all.
Oh, but that's not the case in Shining Force 2.
And that's not the case in Shining Force 2, exactly.
Mostly.
Yeah, so there's like points where you can't go back at times in Shining Force 2, but it's always for a reason, It's like the island's fucking destroyed. Like, obviously you can't go back to it. But in Shining Force 1, it's like chapter 1 ends. Now you're in this area that the developers have created. And it's like, well, why can't I go back? There's no reason.
Right.
Shining Force 3 does a really, really good job of making the world feel like it's its own entity. And like you can kind of tell, like even just like with a casual playthrough, you can tell where everything is related to other things in the game, even without looking at a map. It's really actually quite remarkable. But so in my video, I had said like because of this, I was really disappointed that they didn't bring back the open world exploration that they had in Shining Force 2, especially since in Shining Force 2 it's a little messy because you don't always know where you're supposed to go and stuff. But in the case of Shining Force 3, I think it would be much more straightforward. And someone had commented and said like, that's ridiculous. Like, why would you ever expect them to bring that feature back? Every other Shining Force game that has existed except for Shining Force 2 has always had the chapter system. It's ridiculous that like why would you ever expect that? And I was like, well, because it's a sequel.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome thing. It was an amazing change, in my opinion.
It improved upon it.
Yeah, I thought it was an improvement. You know, it made the world feel like a much richer place, and the open world exploration was fun, and being able to go back and recruit party members that you had missed out on before was so cool.
Yeah.
But they just got rid of it in Shining Force 3, and now that I'm playing through, it's a freaking huge game. It's 3 games of game, which is bizarre. But so now that I'm playing it more, I can see why they didn't do it. But just playing the first part of it, the first game of this 3 game, God, I hate that. I was, it was disappointing because like another thing that I often complain about is in the Pokemon games, in Soul Silver and Heart Gold, every Pokemon can follow behind you, and that's like just an objectively awesome feature that they have just not had in any other game since, except for like Let's Go, but there's only the 150 in that one. You know, to me, it was like, no, I totally have a right to complain about this because this is a really cool, awesome feature that was in a previous entry. Why wouldn't they bring it back? Like,
yeah, dude.
I don't know. And I was just upset that like, and this wasn't just like some guy either. It was like someone who like I'd like talked to before and also makes videos. And I was like,
it's also the third game. Like there was one game where it was one way. There was another game where it was the other way. And now this is the next game in the series. So like, it's not really established, and it is.
No.
Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, so there were like there's like 3 other games that were like spin off on the Game Gear that came out before Shining Force 2 even. So there are like 4 games that use the chapter system, but again, those all came out before Shining Force 2.
Yeah, it's the sequel.
With the exception of one of them actually. So there's 3 games or whatever that came out before Shining Force 2, and then 1 game that came out after that had the chapter system, which makes sense because it's the Game Gear. Like you're not going to make an expansive exploration-based game on the Game Gear. But so to see like the Saturn with this new at the time technology to not take advantage of like an open world, I was disappointed. And someone like attacked me for that, even though I don't know.
That's super. I think that's super. Right. Because it's like saying like Mortal Kombat 2 added like however many more characters to the roster of Mortal Kombat 1, and then saying that Mortal Kombat 3 like reduced the roster again, and then the subsequent games reduced the roster even further. And that's like saying, yeah, it's dumb that you're complaining that they're reducing the character roster. It's just like an improvement upon a game, right? Or a different, maybe not even like a objectively necessarily like an improvement, but just like, I don't know, you made a difference somehow, right, in the sequel, and like if people do like it, why not?
It's like he was like chastising me for my opinion. Like, I happen to enjoy the open world exploration. I was disappointed that it wasn't brought back, and he was like, "What? No, you're wrong." And what?
It's like someone being like, "Oh, Paper Mario should suck ass because all the other ones."
Yeah, right.
Yikes!
I mean, maybe the new one is good. I'm still not allowed to talk about Origami King as per my contract. Maybe one day.
You still have an embargo, dude.
Yeah, it's really long.
If you get into any fandom, like people just become like so toxic and defensive about.
Yeah.
If there's ever more than one thing, right? Like Avatar: The Last Airbender was like perfect, and everyone would probably be living in harmony right now if Korra didn't come out, because people have different opinions about it. And like anytime anything changes, there's going to be people who dislike and like the changes, and for whatever reason, they can't like respect the other person's opinion that is different.
Right.
Like
Right,
if people like whatever, dude. Like if you like the chapter system, that's great. It's back. You won. I'm upset that it's not back.
Yeah, just to clarify, right? That when I talked about like shit that pisses me off on the internet about this guy's video, it's not his opinion that pisses me off. It's just how he like framed it, right? Because he like says that the power ups are really fun, but then he says that they're also like the flaw in the game. And like, what kind of reasoning is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bad
That's
argument.
Yeah, right,
It's
right,
like an
right.
internet argument, I guess.
Or if he doesn't like the game itself, that's fine too. Just like how you frame the argument.
Right.
Yeah, shit, dude. Is religion just a bunch of people simping for God, dude?
I guess that's one way to put it.
What do you think, Cameron?
If God exists in like like a plane that you could compare to the internet, then I guess so. Yeah, my God.
I don't know, like
That's
the internet.
That's good.
The internet's like a medieval peasant is probably a good way to compare like a human to like astral plane.
God damn, this even got a lot.
I'd have to agree. Yeah,
This got a lot more philosophical than I expected. No, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Yeah, I don't know. What else you guys got going on?
I just fucking love Castlevania, dude. I just gotta say it. It's so good, dude. Oh my god, I was listening to Simon's theme today, and I was like, I couldn't. I've been doing this a lot actually, because I'm alone all the time, right? So
Oh,
I just
no,
like,
dude.
no, I just like I've been dancing by myself. Is all I wanted to say. And I was gonna listen to Simon's theme on YouTube or whatever, and then I was like, what am I doing? I've literally got a Sega Genesis behind me. Let me blast it on the Genesis. And so I hooked it up, and I had like speakers with like stereo audio and shit. And well, okay, that's actually something I want to talk about. Stereo audio is so fucking cool. Oh my god, it's insane. There's so many games that like make really, really cool use of it. Like I plugged this one game in where your spaceship takes off from the left side of the screen and goes to the right. And as you do that, you know, the audio of the of like the launch of the spaceship starts off on the left and then moves to the right channel for audio. And just like little touches like that are so cool in a game.
Right.
But yeah, Castlevania, fucking awesome. I love it.
Yeah, Bofner's video, all of Bofner's videos on Castlevania are really fucking hot, especially like the ones on the Game Boy because they're so like overlooked. So it's cool to hear.
No one even watches those videos too.
I'm lucky because they're really good.
And those are like my favorite videos that I've made because like,
I would say those are my favorite videos.
They're good, yeah.
I just really like, give a shit about those Castlevania games because they're really cool. And no one talks about them.
They did get a run at GDQ.
I was gonna say, Belmont's Revenge got a GDQ run, which was pretty fun.
Melbot's Revenge.
Some weird shit does get into GDQ. There was the Alf game at GDQ this year.
I missed that one.
Alf game?
Yeah, I think it's on Genesis. It was actually really funny because the dude clicked on the wrong thing in the menu, and the wrong thing he bought at the shop happens to reset your game. It's a book, and it tells you a little story, and then it's like anyone who reads this will have to go beat the whole game again, and it resets the console for you. You can't do it.
Damn, unlucky.
That's
dog.
awful.
How's the video on Castlevania Bloodlines performed, dude? Just curious. If people were into
compared to my other videos, it's okay. It's not bad.
That's probably the video. Would be the most popular because it's like the most.
Which one?
The Castlevania 4 one, because you don't like it, and it's like the biggest classic Castlevania game, I would say.
My most popular videos are the ones on the Darius games, actually.
Yeah, the shooter.
Kind of weird because fucking who plays Darius?
Well, wasn't it, like there was like no information on it, and you were the only one who was like actually into this.
Yeah. So also, I bought the Japanese version like before we even thought there would be an American release.
Right.
And so I had these reviews up on these Japanese exclusive Switch games. Yeah. And then like Limited Run Games was like, oh, we're going to release this. And then all of a sudden my views like shot through the roof because people were like, what the hell is this?
The reason why I ask you about views is not, just because I mentioned the fact that like you talk about these Castlevania games that often get overlooked, right? Specifically because like I feel like, at least from what I've gathered, no one really know. I mean, not a lot of people know a lot about Bloodlands, and everyone just. I'm gonna use a horrible term here. Everyone just simps for Castlevania 4.
Dude, that's
You
so
know what I mean?
that's so accurate, dude.
Yeah.
It's
So
so
that's
true.
another thing, right? That's another thing because like you make videos on fucking Castlevania Bloodlines, which is a fantastic fucking
So
game
good. It's
that people don't
good.
really talk about.
I didn't even know it existed till Cam had it like
Yeah.
physically
Right.
in front of me in the apartment, and I was like, "Oh, this exists," but I'd never like
Right.
seen videos
Yeah.
or heard about it.
Is that
That's
game fucking expensive nowadays?
yeah, so that's one of the ones that I'm really glad I got back in 2012. I think I got it for like $30. I don't have the manual, but I have the box. If
Right.
you get it in that condition now, you're spending like $100 or something. It's so
Right.
stupid. But
Gotcha.
but you don't have to because it's on Switch.
And it's
which
on
is
the
really
yes,
cool.
and it's on the Genesis Mini as well.
And it's on the Mini, yes, which
Yeah,
is
favorite game, Kid Dracula.
yeah,
Right.
Kid Dracula also on there.
Did you say? Did you just say that's my favorite game?
I did. Is it not?
Okay. No, it is. It is. I just.
Yeah, no, that one though, of my videos, that's the most popular Castlevania one that I have by
Right.
a lot.
Okay. Cool.
Maybe
Yeah.
not a lot.
Again, I didn't mean to just talk about. I just wanted to make the point about the fact that you talk about.
I'm not
this
offended
Castlevania.
or anything. Don't worry.
Right. No, I just think it's bring it up. Right. The fact that you talk about Castlevania games that often get overlooked. You know,
We have like
Yeah.
episodes where Daniel complains about Castlevania 4.
For like the first 10 episodes of this show, we
It's
always talked
true.
about fucking Castlevania.
We always bring it up, and I'm like, yeah,
Because Castlevania 4 is I am convinced Castlevania 4 is one of the most overrated video games in all of human history. Like,
I would agree, and I don't even like to use the word overrated often.
it is astronomically overrated. I think the only people I've met that don't like actively dislike Castlevania 4 are you guys.
I think Ego Raptor, when he made his video, like made people at least like reevaluate the game a bit because he's
Yeah.
the same thing. So it's like the idea was out there, but most people are just like, it's okay.
Right.
I guess that's where I am. I'm like, it's okay, but
It's okay.
everyone's like,
Yeah.
the best Castlevania, and it's one of
Right.
the worst, I would say.
Yeah, like I would
Yeah.
never, ever, like I would always choose to play Bloodlands before I chose to play Castlevania 4. You know?
Me
Yeah.
too.
I'd rather play the stupid DS games that I don't like.
Honestly, playing through Castlevania 4 for that video was really not fun. I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't feel like I had the right to talk about Castlevania 4 unless I beat it.
Yeah, no, that's
And
super
so I
fair.
just fucking suffered through.
That's super fair.
I would have been disappointed if I had enjoyed the game that there's only one form of Dracula, but since I was not having fun at all, I was so relieved that it was just a single form.
Right.
Oh my god.
Right.
I will say I wouldn't play Order of Ecclesia over it. I really don't like that game.
Is that the last DS one that came out?
Could be.
I get the order all mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know the order.
The Soma ones are definitely the best on the DS if you get the patch that makes it playable. Because drawing the stupid symbols mid boss fight in real time and the boss heals.
That is
fuck it up. It's really sucks.
Right.
The Curse of the Moon games too are good. I definitely prefer old school Castlevania to them, but they're very good. Oh, well, not Castlevania 3. I'd rather play Curse of the Moon than Castlevania 3.
Right.
I definitely beat like everything there is to do, except there is a mode for you play the whole game as one character, and they each have a unique final boss. And I definitely haven't done that for all the characters or anything.
Oh my God. Is that in the second one?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I only did it for one, but I beat like all the story and everything, and it was really good.
I still have to beat those. I do like them. I do like them a lot, but like the Curse of the Moon requires you to be a lot more methodical, which is cool, right? It just takes me a little bit longer to like actively like get into them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally.
They're really good. They're really good.
Something about just I don't know, like playing them feels different from playing a Castlevania game. I guess partly because when I play like an old Castlevania game, I'm playing it and thinking like, wow, like they're like pushing the hardware that this was made for. Whereas now I know that they're so not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that influences
it. Cycle of the second one, I will say that was pretty speedy.
Right.
What was
the development cycle from like?
Oh yeah, that's insane.
They came out of nowhere. They made it in like 6 months or some shit. I think I read. I also think the music is objectively better in the older Castlevanias. Objectively, I would say. Yeah. Not that the music in Curse of the Moon is bad, because to me, like music plays a big role in why I like these older, old school type games. And I do think the older Castlevania games have better music than the Curse of the Moon games. Even the GBA Castlevanias, I think, have rocking. Well, maybe not Harmony of Dissonance. That game's music kind of sucks, but like Aria of Sorrow has a fucking banging fucking soundtrack.
Dude, someone just gets a gun, like a M9.
And the DS one, or not?
Yeah, and the one I played on DS, it was one of the
Okay.
weapons, and I think you need like a stat for it to be good because it did
Right.
no damage, but it was just awesome because I was like this magic vampire hunter, and I just have a gun.
Yeah.
God.
Now, Aria of Sorrow is a good fucking time, and I'm sure. Fuck, the Celtics lost. That's garbage.
Unlucky,
Sorry.
dude.
I just locked it. I looked a second ago, and it was 103 to 101 or some shit, and it was like 2 seconds left in the clock or whatever. And I looked again, and it's 104 to 103 for the Raptors. That's garbage.
They're in a bubble, right?
Yeah, they're in Orlando. Yeah, they have been for like 2 months now. Which
That's
is
wild.
wild. Yeah.
Can you imagine that as your job? Like you have to leave in order to work. You had to be in a like
If
bubble.
you have kids, they like can't come with you.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
like
that
your
or they
family,
come and
dude.
they have to stay there.
Right.
Well, yeah, but then they can't go to
Right.
school.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
children.
I mean, you can probably work it out with like the online stuff, but schools are physically open here.
In a lot of places, yeah. Shit. It's weird because not even here schools are reopened. You know what I mean? Like most schools here, like schools that are on the American schedule, they started like earlier this month, but they're all still virtual. I can't, and I talked to a lot of schools all over the country, right? All over the country, even from like small villages that I'd never even heard before, and they're all still doing virtual.
The U.S.
is
is
weird.
In too much of a hurry to go back to whatever they think is normal.
Right.
It's like
right.
the technology's there. Like
why not
we
take
can
advantage
do
of it?
this.
Right?
Instead of like coming up with these bullshit weird ass bus schedules and stuff to like,
Right.
oh, we're gonna have the windows open on the bus all year long, and kids are gonna have assigned seats, and they can't touch each other. I'm like, Jesus,
It's
just
so much
put the
more
kid on a
complicated.
computer. Oh my
It's so much
god.
more-
Yeah. Some of it here is though that like poor families, they don't have either internet or a computer, and
Right. Or
like
time.
and like New
care of
Haven, they
children.
put it in order for like all these computers, but because of the virus is taking one to get them, so like
right. I mean, I guess that's true, and like parents who like need to be out of the house.
Yeah.
Do right. Yeah. I
And
guess that's
unfortunately, like some kids just need to go to school to eat.
Oh, true.
Right.
Yeah, that's also very
God.
true. Yep. God damn. Yeah. Shit, dude. I don't know. What did we learn today, Cameron?
I learned that you finished Plague of Shadows, which I didn't know before today.
Spectre Torment.
Damn it! I learned the opposite. I didn't learn anything.
God damn it! Unlucky.
Yeah, you learn that Craig says something when he starts recording.
Oh yeah, I did learn that. I learned that Craig has a beautiful singing voice, actually.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, me? Let's see. I knew that people were scalping the SNES and NES Mini, but I did not know to the degree. Like when I looked it up, I was not surprised, but I was like, oh, that's higher than I thought it would be. You know, I thought it'd be like a 20% increase, but no, it's like 80 or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing to think about.
Yeah,
like it's something you know it's happening, but like you're not constantly thinking about it, and then you're like, oh yeah, that is the thing that we don't like regulate legally.
Right.
Well, I think it is illegal, but we don't like have the tools to check.
Like enforce it. Yeah.
What about you, Daniel?
I learned about Shining Force, man. I learned about Shining Force's mechanics and how it used to be an open world and now there isn't, and like people apparently are upset over the fact that it is not open world anymore for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I learned that Shining Force 3 is like the 8th game or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I also learned that. I didn't learn this because I had to read that Shining Force 3 just because it's a fun fact. I think Shining Force 3 is basically like 17 games in one game.
it's 3 like 40-hour games.
God damn, dude. God
It's
damn.
an interesting way to tell a story, though. It's pretty cool if like
yeah, for sure.
the plot one crosses over.
So yeah, so far what I've played is you play through the whole story, and then the scenario 2 starts back at the beginning, but from someone else's perspective. And so I think that's gonna be the pattern for the next game as well.
It's something that's pretty unique to video games.
I don't know of any other games that do it quite like that.
Pathologic has that, if you know what that is, even.
I have no idea what the fuck that is.
There's there's no time to explain what pathologic is. But maybe next time.
Cameron, I did buy Wargroove a while ago, man, and I haven't played it, and I'm trying to find some motivation to play it. Not saying that like I'm not motivated to play it. I just have a lot of other games, but like I do want to play it.
Cooperative campaign. Yeah.
I was gonna say, so if you or Matthew or both want to play, like I'd be fucking down.
I would, because I personally couldn't get myself to play through it by myself.
Yeah, I finished it, but I have this weird problem where if I plug it into docked mode, the resolution doesn't work, or it's too small to see. Like, I don't know.
There is a setting you can adjust in game.
Okay. I always just play it in handheld, but I haven't played it in like 5 months. I don't know.
Yeah, so tune in next week when Owen's dad actually comes on the show and tells you about not only his pizza mishap, but the birth of Owen and the 48-hour struggle that Owen's mother went through to deliver her son.
That's actually really fucking funny because I was listening to Dialogue Tree the other day, actually. One of the suggested videos that I got, not suggested videos, one of the suggested podcasts that I got was like the birth of Owen or some shit like that.
I thought that's why Cam said that, but you're right. You just sent it to me, you know?
Yeah. That's really fucking funny, actually, that you said that. That's good.
I like that Owen is a character on this show.
Yeah, right. And Owen has his own like storylines on the show.
Yeah, I mean, and Owen's dad is like a sub character.
Yeah, he's in the canon.
Wait, can we get Owen to like hop in just for like a minute?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
We have to go to the other.
Oh no! Oh shit! We have to go into suck my balls.
All right, okay, let's go. For his first appearance, starring Owen Wilson Connell. Welcome.
Hi, what have I just thrown myself into?
Daniel has a question for you.
Oh,
dude.
Okay.
Owen, what set of items could you buy that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable?
The most uncomfortable?
Any cashier.
Any cashier? Geez, I feel like it's got to be something like that the store doesn't normally sell, or like it's not a specialty thing. Like I feel like if you
like it's from a different store.
You know what? Yeah, I think that would be. I think like if you went to a different, like let's say you went to a specialty store and then you like took it to like a Target and you put that on there. I think that would probably weird out the cashier. Like, all right, let me think. All right, you know, let's say you go to a music store, you steal like a very expensive, nice guitar. Then you go to Target and you get like a bunch of macaroni and like a tomato and a copy of Dragon Ball Super Broly, the movie, available on Blu-ray and DVD right now. Then you put the guitar on there, and then you have to ask them to ring it up. And when they say, "Sir, this guitar is not in our catalog," and you go, "Well, I saw a price tag underneath that, so I want you to get your manager right now."
You already got away with stealing it, and you tried to pay for it.
Well, yeah, you have a vendetta against this cashier, so you're trying to make them as uncomfortable as possible. You can get something else, like. Doesn't have to be the guitar, but just like go to some sort of specialty store and then go to a general store.
Yeah, maybe like a Furby.
Probably get a rash cream and ask them if they've used it before. If we're defective.
Like
that's pretty good.
Like a lot. Like you just have a pile of
like 6 gallons of rash.
I buy like fucking hemorrhage cream and like have you ever used this before? Is it any good? Would you know? Would you recommend this shit?
I've got some major roids that I'm dealing with right now.
Well, you gotta show it to them as well. Just like take off your pants and show it to them. Like, here, let me. Do you think like from your professional opinion, do you think that I'm buying the right product? Like, do you think the bucket I'm buying is the right application method?
Well, Owen, thank you so much for your celebrity appearance. What have we learned today, Owen?
What have I learned?
Yeah, come on.
All right. I learned today how to change the filter for an Eastern musk turtle's enclosure.
Ooh,
wow,
that's
very cool.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Tune in next week when Owen's going to tell us how to change the filter for an Eastern whatever.
Musk turtle.
Come on.
His name is Oscar because he's a grouch.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
nice. So cute.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
Enter Toe Jam and Earl Planet on Panic on Funkatron.
Please enjoy.
Goodbye, my loves.
Peace.